Hey everyone, how's it going? It is I, the real Randy Chavez. I'm coming at you today with podcast number 286, Joe Rao on Pokemon, physics, AI, 90s, and more. Everyone say hello to Dashi. Hello, Dashi. And yes, how you doing, my brother?
Hey, what's going on, Mr. Chavez? I'm doing all right, living the dream over here. I got a kid that's 2 now, and he's a handful. But aside from that, the hobby keeps on clicking, and I'm clicking with it. So, how are you
Heck yeah.
doing?
I'm doing all right. I am it's snowy here out on the East Coast. So you're in the East Coast as well, right? You're over in up
Yeah, yeah,
in New
yeah.
York, upstate?
I'm over here in good old New York. It snowed just last night. We had a nice little dusting down, and it is cold. It's cold and windy.
Yeah, yeah. The Northeast has had a brutal, brutal cold snap. Thank you, Bill Gardner, saying let's go. Omar saying good evening, my man's. How y'all's doing? So for people that do not know, me and Joe R Vintage Pokemon have been buddies since the 90s.
Mhm.
There was Super Smash Brothers, Star Fox, and little baseball,
Oh,
and
Star Wars. We throw Star Wars in
Star Wars.
there.
Yeah, that
Oh,
was great too. We had the lightsabers. We had the
oh man.
neighborhood. Yeah, it was a good time. So we've known each other, and then then you moved, and then randomly found you on Facebook like 15 years later or something, or 10 years later, and
Oh yeah.
then I
And
went to
it's
visit.
been 15 years again since then. On top of that, I mean, we're old. I mean, man.
Yeah, yeah, it's that is rough. I
Yeah.
have you seen those videos where it's like, what year you were born? Were you born? And it's like 2004 or 2007. It's like 19
The
because
best years is when we were born, man. We got Pokemon, Jurassic Park, some
oh yeah,
great Godzilla movies. Star Wars was hitting its like stride for like part 2 of its life, not part 3, which is cringeworthy, but
yeah.
those prequels.
Now
People complain about the prequels. I mean, now seeing the what do you call the follow up to that? But anyway, people would sell their left leg to get something equivalent to the prequels back again.
yeah. Dragon Ball Z was a big one. There was a lot of anime. There was a lot
Oh
of good stuff.
man, the 90s were lit. They were really, I mean, they are the best. They are the
Yeah,
best.
yeah. Because you still had like yeah, we loved staying inside playing video games and doing whatever, but you had like an
Mm.
outside life too, and it was fun. And then you also,
Yeah.
when you did that, you kind of just went where you wanted, and parents weren't like really breathing down your neck
Yeah,
on
man.
where you were.
What we do, we would spend half our time. Well, let's say we spent 25% of our time looking at Pokemon cards, 25% of our time, no, 50% of our time playing Super Smash Brothers on the N64,
Oh
and then 25% of our time playing wiffle ball in the backyard and lightsaber dueling with plastic lightsabers. It was some proportion of that magnitude, but we knew how to have fun in the 90s growing up as
yeah,
kids. We just
yeah, it
had a
was great
lot.
time.
There was a lot going for us.
We had great times.
We
I
sure
was like,
did.
Joe. So I guess we're gonna jump right into it here. So I typically focus on modern, but Joe, I know you have to do a little bit of a mix, or I say vintage. I do not do modern. But what are your thoughts on the Destined Rivals booster box?
Oh my gosh, I should have brought it down. I didn't think you were even gonna go to modern because you know that I'm all vintage for the most part. But it's
Yeah,
funny that you mentioned Destined Rivals because that is the last time because Pokemon Center changed how they do their entry to their website, and I don't even know how I got it, but I managed to get the Pokemon Center Destined Rivals ETB. Wasn't
yeah,
looking to collect the set. I was just like on Pokemon Center and I was like, let me see what's going on here. And I sat in a queue for maybe like a half hour and out of nowhere it let me in, popped one in the cart, and now I have it. And I said to myself, I'm not really interested in this particular set. It's got some really cool cards, but they already were going to the moon like the second the set came out. And I was like, I'm not opening this Pokemon Center ETB. And I think it's like $300 or something. This is something that is not a year old, and it's $300. I bought it for like 65 bucks out the gate. So, what do I think about it? I think it's probably one of the hottest modern sets out there, and you really can do no wrong getting your hands on it from an investment standpoint, from a collector standpoint, it's got a lot going for it. I mean, it's got Giovanni's Mewtwo. I forget if it's Rocket's Mewtwo or Giovanni. I think it's Giovanni's Mewtwo.
Yeah.
But they've got like 3 different versions of that card. They've got Ho-Ho. They've got Cynthia's Garchomp. It's just got some killer cards in there. You know, they're one Charizard away from just breaking the internet, which they don't. But
Yeah. The
I mean, the hobby is truly insane right now.
yeah. We just had Mewtwo's birthday yesterday, and
we did.
I celebrate. I mean, I play every couple of days, play a couple times a week, but I made sure to schedule some time yesterday to go and play. So that was good. That was fun.
What did you specifically play? What were you dealing in?
I think this was, I actually forget which game it was. It is Pokemon Red. I'm doing a couple of different ones here. Red is, what's my team in Red? I will show you in Team Manage 2 seconds.
You know, it's funny that you said you're playing Red, because I too am playing Pokemon Red at the moment. And you're rocking a Nidoking, a Venusaur, a Farfetch'd, which I know just from the nickname alone.
I love that. And then the Paris is HM Slayer. He's cut. He's, you know.
Hey, don't sell Paris short. He's got Spore.
Yeah, Paris is cool with a couple of things. But bro, Dux is did you know that that Farfetch'd learned Swords Dance at like 22?
You know, it's funny that you mentioned that. I did, because I've been going back and playing through Pokemon Stadium, and one of the cups in the OG Pokemon Stadium is for level 25 to 30, and only certain Pokemon are allowed in that particular cup battle. And guess who gets to be in that category? Good old Farfetch'd. And he is awesome because he rocks Sword Dance right around that level cap. And so he fits in perfectly with that like category of battles. I think it's basically like the little cup. It's for the Pokemon that are not great stat-wise. But Farfetch'd can be a beast in that arena because his stats are bad, but he's got Swords Dance. I forget if he learned Agility or not by then, but I mean, he's got Swords Dance, and that's really all he needs, because his speed is awful, all things considered, but compared to like a bunch of unevolved Pokemon, it's like right up there close to top tier speed. So really cool. I'm currently playing Pokemon Red myself. My team, a very different team than yours, though, because I can't even play the originals anymore without usually using the Mew glitch in some capacity. I always love like getting some Pokemon at the beginning of the game that normally you can't. So like I'm in Cerulean City rocking like a Cubone right now, a Gengar. If I wanted, I could have a Lapras, but I've done that in the past already. Pinsir, and I've got a Fearow, because why not? So I'm having a good time with it.
Yeah, I've had Pharaohs in the past, because Pharaoh, like Drill Peck, is just Pidgeot can't learn that, and Drill Peck is so good. But I think one of my favorite playthroughs, I took a Charmander and then Beedrill, and those were my only two. And Beedrill, I think, can learn Agility. And that was my thing. I was like, okay, I'll use Badge Boost glitch. I'll have Beedrill do Agility. And because everything's like weak to, there's a lot of things that are weak to Bug Move, and he does, Twin Needle, and that's really good. At least the best Bug Move, I think, that Beedrill or most bugs can learn at that point. But then he can learn Sword Dance too. You get it, I think, Saffron City. So it's via TM. He doesn't learn to be a level up, then two of those, and he's just OP.
Yeah, but you know what? It's funny because it's a TM, so many Pokemon can learn Swords Dance. It makes just so many guys OP. But in that original game, if you actually use Swords Dance in red or blue or yellow, if you use it too much and your Pokemon goes over the 999 attack cap, it actually drops them back to being regular attack again. So you gotta be careful with that. It's just one of those fun.
Do you have to do that?
Usually you can get away with 2. It depends how strong the Pokemon is. Like with Mewtwo. If you were to use one Swords Dance, I think that'd be all you can get. Same thing with Amnesia. That's one of the reasons why I love playing Pokemon Stadium, actually, is because when you do battles on Pokemon Stadium, a lot of these glitches in regular red, blue, and yellow, they're fixed in Pokemon Stadium. and that makes it a lot of fun to play. Your boy, by the way, is asking us if we're going to go to Pokemon Day at Nintendo in New York City. I don't know about you, but I personally just don't have time for that. I actually
Yeah.
would love to go to way more TCG conventions personally. I would love to go to that too. That would
Yeah.
be super sick. I'd love to. There are some crazy good TCG card stores in New York City too. Actually, there was one that recently got robbed. Did you see that on the news?
I did not know that was in New York City, but yes, I did.
Yeah.
That was insane.
Yeah. But what about, you're not even in New York, I think, right?
No, I keep it this girl I was dating a while back, her ex or her ex, I guess, was just like uh really unhinged, and he was given like a bunch of death threats, and I was like, maybe I'll keep where I live now on the DL. So I was like just in case. Anyway, the relationship didn't last, but she's an awesome girl, awesome chick. Anyway, but not that far from New York, and would be I would do it, but same like so. Here's January. Like the schedule is just nonstop, and it's just not. So February, obviously, but a lot of it happens like I could try to plan something out, and if I don't, it just I
Yeah.
just get caught up in meetings and stuff. But um, also when it's warmer, I really don't like to travel like from like one cold place to another. Like if I'm gonna travel, I'm gonna go like south. Like I
It
went
is
to Florida
cold.
a few months ago.
It is cold right now, and
Yeah,
honestly, I know Pokemon Day is coming up, and it's really cool. But being outside, and if you're going to New York City, you're gonna be outside, right? It's gonna be cold, and I
yeah,
don't know if I'd want to be in that mix, honestly. But that robbery that took place at that store, you just feel for those people because they're just trying to make an honest living, doing something they love,
yeah.
and I can't even imagine the same happening to me. I would be just absolutely just broken if that sort of theft happened to me. I think they lost like 100 grand in singles and boxes and things like that. And broad daylight too. It's like, what's wrong with people, man? I mean, it's just
I mean, that's New York though, when they're soft on crime. Like I would never open
the
up a
90s is
business
where
like
it's
that.
at. Back
What?
in the 90s.
Yeah. Yeah, I would never open up a business like that in New York. I have a couple businesses in New York, but they're like it's just me and like that's it.
Yeah. Well,
But for
owning
that,
a card store in general is just like ridiculous. I mean, you hear from one of the greatest TCG social media players out there, TCA Gaming, the Charizard
yeah,
Authority himself. He owned a store for quite a few years, and he closed it a long time ago now. But I remember him saying how hard it was. It just didn't pay. He just does everything online now. He has an online store. He's like, it didn't pay for him to own a physical store. He realized that, he closed it, but he still does great business online, and he still does to this day.
yeah.
So a lot of
Do-
respect for that man.
So you obviously buy and sell. Do you have a whatnot?
I don't have a whatnot. Whatnot's. If I'm being honest, whatnot scares me. I've got friends
Why?
that do whatnot. I just you hear about certain. I know there's reviews and there's certain sellers on whatnot, but you hear these horror stories of people like scamming, and you hear these good things too, where you say, "Oh, yeah, I got good deals on whatnot," and you just hear about some people like. Uh, not being happy or literally trying to bully their own viewers into bidding at auctions in some
Mm,
cases. So it's from a TCG viewpoint. I'm not a huge fan of whatnot. If I'm gonna buy a card, I'll stick to eBay and I'll stick to Pokemon Facebook groups. That's where I'm gonna lay it down.
I feel you. If I get back in, I mean, I would never do the business again as I was because that was a lot of time just packing up cards and put on eBay, and
Oh,
eBay takes a lot.
well, let me tell you, for someone that jumped into it as quickly as you did, I mean, you were like in and out, but you got in, you made some bread, and then you were out. And I'm very jealous of how quickly you got in and out like that too. I mean,
Yeah.
you looked at it, and I feel like we're two sides of a coin because you love Pokemon. You have a lot of respect, a lot of nostalgia for Pokemon. Oh, I know. But you also have a lot of respect for business and the financial side of things. And you saw that there was some money to be made. You went in with I feel like you went in half with your heart, half with business in mind. You got an entire PSA 10 gym challenge set, not just hollows, every single last card. That is extremely hard to do. You
First
count on probably
edition.
one hand the number of people that have done that. You
There
did
was
it.
3 at the time.
Yeah.
Like I was
And
the
then
third one to do it.
just like that, you were like, you know what? There are other things to be had here, and you dumped it. You had a PSA 10 trophy Kangaskhan. You had it. I was like, damn, that's so nice. That's so nice. And then
Yeah.
just like that, you were like, time to move on. And you said, and you still tell me to this day, you're like, I will get it back one day.
Yeah.
I will get it back. And I believe you. I believe you that you're gonna get it back. But on my side of things, um, I am collecting purely for the hobby. What I get, I sell what I don't need. And I tend to go, I'm more of a gotta catch 'em all type of collector because all my cards, I like to try to collect mint, but I'm okay with PSA 9. Any PSA 10s that I do have, they tend to be ones that I've graded myself or I desperately wanted in a 10 specifically. I got one here. Good old Dragonite, GB Dragonite,
Oh,
GB.
tell us about that one. I freaking love
I
this one.
graded that one myself too. So
Yeah.
that's one that I was like so pumped when I got it back. I mean, this card is sick. That is one of the sickest Dragonite arts. So I was super pumped when I did grade that for myself. But I'm just kind of collecting like mass quantity of mint cards instead of going after like select tens. Like I could sell off my collection and have a strong handful of tens, or I could have dozens, if not hundreds, of PSA nines, and that's kind of what I tend to go for. And you know what? Maybe in the future, I probably will start to kind of slow my collection down. That's kind of my thought. I'm more of like a long term outlook with my collection. Like I want to enjoy it for maybe 20, 30 years, and then maybe down the line, I'll start to kind of piecemeal it out there. The nice thing about Pokemon is just it's easy to store this stuff too. You know, it's like having gold coins. You know, gold is worth so much, but takes up so little space. Cards are very similar to that. You keep it in a lockbox, a vault. You keep it off the grid. It's nice like that.
Yeah. There's a so going back to the when I got in, I like you had showed me a bunch of stuff. Like I think when I was like deployed, I was like in Kuwait, and then you brought me to this guy
Oh,
Rob's house in New Jersey, and
yeah.
I get a little bit there. I get like kind of my feet wet.
Yeah.
Um,
You got a
and
taste for it, and then you were like, I must have more.
well, what happened was
Randy got a taste for blood.
my liver was, or yeah. So in 2018, actually, this is about like almost Facebook memories 8 years ago to the day in the hospital because like my liver was like failing, like a lot of craziness. Somehow it turns out to be okay. And then a few months later, I get the most horrendous stomach pain I've ever had. And it was like appendicitis. And it was like, so I'm thinking like, okay, every couple of months, like an organ's like, I'm just gonna go in and I'm gonna get all the Pokemon cards. So like the first one's like first edition Pidgey, PSA 10. And then in Pokemon Snap, I just took a picture of like you knock Charmeleon into the lava, evolves into
Yeah.
Charizard, and I took a picture of it, just breathing fire, flamethrower, and I just in that you can go and like edit the photos and like put them into an album and put like something under them, like so I typed in like I love you, and then the gym challenge Charizard like looked just like the one that I did that on. I was like, I need them, and I I remember you telling me like stop buying these PSA 10s because I bought like 6 of them. So
Yeah.
I started with my heart, and then obviously the autist
You
came out. I
did
was looking at
it. You were at a point where it was starting to concern me. I was like, "Oh my gosh, did I create a monster here?" Because I felt like you were buying and you were in many cases paying over market. I mean, one of the strangest buys you did was we were actually together at Rob's. the guy that this is just a guy that I actually met through eBay, and we got talking, and he was like, I got so much stuff. You should come to my place. It was like the sketchiest thing you've ever seen. Is somebody on eBay being like, I have Pokemon cards. Come on over, little boy. And I was like, ah. But he ended up being like the real deal. He had so much stuff. He had handfuls of pre-release Clefables. He offered me a holographic Gem Mint Sky Ridge Charizard at one point, which I think he graded it a 10, and he wanted to give it to me for ungraded. He wanted to give it to me for $70. This was a different time. This was a time when that card was going for under $100.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, I don't go past Neo Destiny. That's not really my thing. I kind of stopped there. And looking back, I was like, it's a Charizard. You should have just bought it, graded it, and held on to it. What's wrong with you? Because if I had bought it, it would have stayed in the PC. It would have. So I'm like really kicking myself for that. Also, he had a bunch of legendary collection stuff, but you know, it's hindsight's 2020 because we bought so much stuff from him. But my point is, when I brought you there to buy some cards, you bought like a glossy English Mew. And he was like, I'll give it to you for $500, and like you jumped at it, and I was like gritting through my teeth. I was like, that's too much. That's too much, Randy. Like, oh. I was like, stop, don't, Randy, what are you doing? But it was all good because it worked out in the end, you know?
Yeah.
From Rob, I got you a PSA 8 pre-release Clefable, which I was like, oh my gosh, because I graded one and it came back a 7. I graded yours and it came back an 8. And I was like, oh my God, are you serious? Because I had both of them, and I cherry picked the one that was for me, obviously, because I had both in hand. And then yours got the 8. I was like, oh my God, are you kidding me right now? You know, that actually goes to show, because my card had some faint scratches on it, but I always judge cards based on their backside, and the back was cleaner on mine, but yours had less scratches on the front, and PSA values a clean surface more than anything, I think. And that's something that we could probably talk about that too, is the differences between PSA, BGS, CGC when it comes to grading. Because back when we were getting into it heavy, it was just PSA, really.
Yeah.
It was like BGS cost more if you wanted to grade with them. And now they're cheaper than PSA. PSA's gotten like ridiculous with their prices.
Well, the BGS also, if all the subgrades got a 9 and above, you're good. But if they got below that, like, it was very questionable. Like a BGS 8 on any subgrade could have meant like a 6. I'm sure they got better, but yeah, back in the day, it was just, you didn't want to do that unless the card was like uber.
You oftentimes, as I do now, you want to strategically grade now with these companies. Obviously, PSA is king. It's going to be king for a long, long time, especially since they've now acquired, not PSA, but Collectors, the company that owns PSA. Collectors has now acquired BGS Beckett. So now they're all under the same umbrella, which I love because I think that's just going to make BGS stronger. But I also hate it too because that means they're probably going to start charging for upcharges based on how your card grades. Yeah. But I mean, this is a perfect example. I graded this card with BGS, and you probably know what that is.
No damage. Hell yeah.
No damage. The legendary no damage Ninetales.
Can I see the back?
Yeah, sure. Here's the back.
This looks pretty good.
It's okay. It's okay. So I thought for sure this would probably get a PSA 5 or a PSA 6. And so I strategically graded with BGS, knowing that they probably would be a little bit more lenient on the subgrades for each category. You know, you look at these subgrades, the lowest one is I think a 7.
Yeah.
And so that's why I went with BGS. Yeah. This is a case where this particular card, if it graded PSA 5, definitely a BGS 7 does beat a PSA 5. I think it even beats a PSA 6. So this is a case where it would probably be beneficial, given the rarity of this card also, to go with BGS for that reason. But in a lot of cases, you're right. BGS 8 can very easily mean a PSA 7 or 6. I have a couple BGS cards that are, again, for that reason too. I've got a BGS Fan Club Magikarp graded an 8. I know that if it was graded with PSA, it'd probably get a 6 or 7.
Yeah.
You know, but
The
and I'm okay with that.
yeah.
You know, I'm a fan of the cards. I'm collecting them with my heart, but I also collect them. I can't ignore the financial aspect of things. I want to collect what makes sense for my future as well, because I do look at my cards as somewhat of an investment.
Yeah. The one of the things I went heavy on aside from Blaine's Charizard is Blaine's Arcanine. A lot of history with that card. It was the first card to ever do 120 damage. It was a you got one. Oh my god, this is one of my is one of my favorites.
Of course,
So
I
good.
have it. It's funny. I actually not too long ago finished my Gym Challenge Holo collection. I got all the Gym Challenge first edition holos in PSA 9.
What was Misty's Gold Dunk?
What was it?
Yeah, like how much was that? Because there's like 50 PSA 10s at the time when I got
the 10 price. I couldn't tell you. I know that as a 9 grade, it's still relatively low pop, but it's definitely more in line with the rest of the set. It's not like it was crazy overpriced or anything like that.
The pop on that
I'm
is
sure
a couple hundred, I guess, for PSA. Not like how many there are.
The Misty's Golduck and the Giovanni's Persian, I know, very low pop 10 cards.
Yeah. Those are very hard. There's so much hollow on it, it's so hard to grade.
Well, you know, that's something else that we could talk about too, is the vintage. And I think there's a lot of people out there that are now starting to think to themselves, I think vintage is maybe a little bit slept on, because the vintage cards are just so low population and high grade compared to these modern cards. Did you see I posted a video not too long ago about, I got this, I have it here. I acquired this card, the Shadowless PSA 9 Chansey.
Okay, so Shadowless, so I agree with you in the main premise of, yes, a lot of the vintage are low pop, but Shadowless especially, because back in the day, like you didn't really know difference between like Shadowless and Unlimited. You just thought it was like, oh, it's different, maybe it's fake, maybe it's whatever, and we didn't understand the importance and mint runs, and there's just so few of them. They're rarer than the first editions. So you graded that, obviously, right?
No, so that card I did not grade. I purchased that card, and there's actually a really interesting story to go with that. But my point being, before I get to that even, is the 151 Charizard, the secret illustration rare Charizard from Pokemon 151, came out like, what is it, like a year and a half ago now or whatever. That card in PSA 10 has a population of 25,000 plus.
My God.
Disgusting population. Card is worth close to $1,000 though.
That is insane.
Insane. It's not that different from the CD promo Charizard, which worth more in a PSA 10 given its incredible age and incredible nostalgia, but that one's also in the thousands with its population. But I'm pretty sure the 151 Charizard still beats it in terms of overall population. That Chansey I just showed you is not worth a lot more, but its population is a whopping 218.
And that's the PSA 9s.
That's a PSA 9, which means there are less than 218 full PSA 9 sets in the world, given that there's only 218 of those Chanseys. And if you want a PSA 10 Chansey, there's only like 16. 16 total.
I assume that's $30,000, or like, give or take.
No, well, it's still shadowless, but I mean, if you want it, I mean, they're all in private collections at this point. There's only 16 of them. So yeah, probably you're going to have to sell your left leg if you're going to want one of those. But it goes to show that population does not inherently mean more value. I mean, Chansey is one of the more expensive cards in the shadowless set. I mean, I think it follows quite literally Charizard, Blastoise, Venusaur, and Chansey is number 4 on that list, probably. But it goes to show that just because a card is low pop doesn't make it inherently more valuable. I mean, look at the Neo Revelation sets. They're very similar as well. First edition hollows from Neo Revelations are very, very low pop also. Some of them are similar to that of the Shadowless Chansey. And still, PSA 9s of those cards are not intrinsically more valuable. They're still low pop, but I mean, just look again at these modern cards. Modern is what a lot of people are coming back into the hobby. A lot of the young kids coming back to that, they're more intrinsically tied to it. So there's a larger group looking at modern. And I
It'll
think
trickle
this
in.
is
It'll trickle
this
back.
is their generation of cards. And I think the nostalgia of vintage keeps it highly valuable and highly collectible. And as we go on in the years, I think you're going to see that just based on the low population, you're going to see a continuing increase in price, but it's going to be, it's a slow burn, just like, the S&P 500. You look at vintage cards, they are not exactly flooding the market like modern. So
Yeah.
you're going to start to see a steady increase over the years. It'll eventually get to the point where I can't even buy vintage cards anymore, which is all the more why it's so important that I do what I'm doing right now for the 30th anniversary, as you know, and that is I am opening one pack a month for the 12 months of the 2026 year. That is Pokemon's 30th anniversary. And did you see the first pack that we opened in January?
Uh, was that the link that you sent the other day?
It was.
Yes.
We
Yes,
opened up
that was.
we opened this pack up, and our first pack of the year was a Chansey. We did
Heck
pull
yeah.
we did pull a Chansey, and they're very clean, but there's a lot to be said about this experiment. One, financially, it is a terrible, terrible idea. But looking at my collection as a whole, it's not like I'm opening up 36 packs, right?
Yeah.
I've got plenty of packs that I have at my disposal, so it's not the end of the world. And I'm looking at the bigger picture, which is I want to have a little bit of fun. That was the whole original purpose. It's funny because I could have purchased probably some PSA 10s back in the day, but I opted to buy packs because that was what I remember having so much fun doing. There's just something pure and joyful about opening a pack of Pokemon cards. And you might not even have intentions of playing with them, but you just open them and you just remember as kids, we would just stare at our cards. You know, it's like, yeah, I could learn how to do my taxes, or I could remember that Meowth has 50 HP and does 10 damage with Payday. Whoopity doo. Um, that was what was important to us back in those days.
Yeah.
And so I just think it's a lot of fun with this current experiment on my channel, Joe R Vintage Pokemon. We're just opening up one pack each month, and I don't expect to make money off of it. I also don't expect gem mint cards to come out of the pack. I think there is inherently a misconception for some collectors out there. They think, oh, if a card is in a pack, it's going to be mint condition. This pack that this came out of is old. Okay, this card has been shaken and bacon inside that pack. It's probably not going to be gem mint condition, and it's not. I mean, there was one. Actually, it's funny. Most of the non-hollows in this pack were dinged to hell. I don't know why, but they were beat up, dinged. There was some whitening. This card is probably the best condition card in the entire pack. It has one scratch on the hollow and maybe a dot in one of the corners, but otherwise it came out very, very clean. But I can tell you for a fact from doing the month of February, and also we've done the month of March, but that's not out yet, of course. But we did the month of March, and I can say with 100% certainty, there's no guarantee that you're going to get gem mint cards out of these packs. Because sometimes you get a great card, but it's just not going to be mint condition. They've got dings, they've got scratches. Worst case scenario, there's a crease. We haven't had that kind of luck, but you just can't expect it. And it's funny because a lot of times the first pack was a case where the non-hollows were really poor condition, but the hollow was really nice. One of the more recent packs that we opened, it was the opposite. The non-hollows, super clean. They look like they could grade 9/10s with any grading company. But for whatever reason, the holographic card, no creases, no dents, clean surface, but the corners look awful. Like somebody cut it with like play scissors almost. And I
Ugh.
was like, oh, that's a little disappointing.
Yeah.
So it's interesting because the hollows do get inserted separately in the packing process. So you might have a really clean set of non-hollows or vice versa, and then the other one's not, which is interesting. But we're opening the packs mostly in order. We did base set, we did jungle. March is going to be fossil, and then we're doing first edition Team Rocket. And
Sweet.
my plan was to actually do base set 2, but I'm actually reconsidering. I think I might drop base set 2, if for no other reason than base set 2 kind of sucks.
I
It's not a great set, and I feel like I don't even know if it's going to be a heavy pack. So I feel like that would I'm doing this for fun. I'm not expecting to come out on top financially from it in any way, shape, or form. But I feel like at that point I'm literally like lighting money on fire with lighter fluid.
Yeah, that one legendary collection I never liked. I want to get back to the reason I brought up the Blaine's Arcanine before is because
Oh, go for it.
back in the day when in like 2018, 2019, there was like 89 first edition PSA 10s, and I remember getting like 3 of them. And I wanted to just like corner the market, and I was. And what brought me back to that was King Kabuto that just spent, I don't know, tens of thousands of dollars on all of the first edition Kabutos. Now, granted, there's probably tens of thousands of those cards out there, even in first edition, because it's a common card. But then somebody outbid Logan Paul for the only signed copy that he did for 50,000. That did get donated to, what's it called? That did get donated to.
Yeah, St. Jude's,
Cancer.
was it?
Yeah, so there
Yeah,
was a
it was
tax
for a good
write-off.
cause. It was for a good cause, and I'm sure that is the only reason is that somebody with deep pockets was like,
Yeah,
"Let
but
me do this. It'll be for a good cause."
what do you
Um,
think about it? What do you think about the whole King Kabuto situation? And
so I actually have a story for you. I literally last week I had I had like a little lot, a little teeny lot of first edition fossil that was near mint condition that I had listed going back a year ago for maybe like 20 bucks. Buy it now on eBay. Nobody bought it. Nobody bought it. I ended up having it come down. I took it down and I just relisted it a week ago. Now, vintage has gone through a metamorphosis, and now people are interested in it, I think, at a higher price point. And one card in this lot of 10 first edition cards, one card was a Kabuto that was first edition in about near mint condition. And what's hilarious is that um, I got a message from someone, and the eBay handle was Kabuto King,
okay,
and he was
okay,
like, he just shot me a message. He was like, it said I didn't even actually realize this until earlier today. It said it was like the real Kabuto King or Kabuto King, and he was like, would you be interested in negotiating on your price? Because I had it as buy it now or best offer. It was like
yeah,
50 bucks for 10 first edition fossil cards. And somebody just prior to him messaging me offered me 45. And I said, I've already got somebody that's offering me 45. So I'm not
yeah,
really inclined to go any lower, really. 45 is
yeah.
kind of the lowest I would consider if somebody's willing to pay it. And I ended up selling for 45, but I just thought it was hilarious that someone with the handle of Kabuto King messaged me. I don't know if it was the actual guy or not, but it was cool to see that message. I had a chuckle.
Yeah, I love that. It's so cool.
Yeah, I don't think
One of
Kabuto personally is the ideal card to corner a market with, but I think you had the right idea with the first edition PSA 10 Arcanines. That is
yeah,
realistic. I mean, we're talking about
yeah.
a
I mean,
hundred-ish
now I assume
cards.
now back in the day it was 89. Now I assume there's like 100.
It's
There's
got to
probably
be
200
probably
now.
it probably rose a decent amount. Now we're not talking about thousands, but it's probably up to
No,
around 150,
but
200.
yeah, I'd say up to 200 now because there's a lot of those packs that were broken.
That'd be my guess.
And
It's just crazy.
yeah,
We're talking about a card in the couple of hundreds, and then you've got modern cards
Charizard.
that are like 30,000.
That's insane.
The Burger 2. The Burger 2, which I think they said is the first card to reach an excess of like 100,000 copies graded or something ridiculous like that. Oh, just
That's
insane. Absolutely bonkers.
My friend Rashed had I forget the name of it. It's a grading card company. It's an AI grading card company, and so when we met in like 2022, maybe 2023, it was fast and it was good. Like any human that could grade a card, like if I'm looking at it, if me or you are looking at a card like a vintage card, we could be better than it. But it could do not just Pokemon of all things. It do Yu-Gi-Oh, do all these things, and now it's like the fourth largest company.
Yeah.
I still think personally, like I could just look at it every different angle, look at whatever, and I could still probably do better. But it would take me a while for that card. Meanwhile, that machine would have done 80 other cards by the time I did it. But what do you think of AI, and what do you think of its place in the hobby, that people use it for tools and people use it for whatever?
So, I mean, it's funny that you actually mentioned that, because I think AI as a grading tool is quite fascinating. I haven't actually tried it yet, but I think it has some promise. AI is scary, though. I mean, I've seen some stuff come out of AI that it just blows my mind. I mean, again, I can't stress this enough. 90s kid, right? You and me, 90s. And then we've got AI doing some like really bonkers stuff now. I mean, writing whole papers, grading cards, and that's not even including like the just like taking personalities. Somebody could take you and just like stick you up in a video and be like, this is the real Randy Chavez saying you should go buy this. And it's not even you.
Yeah.
It's just, it scares me a little bit. It does. But also I see a great amount of opportunity. Was it like one of the biggest one of the biggest stock suggestions out there is investing in things like QQM and QQQ, because that's just an index fund for tech stocks basically. And tech is going to the moon, I think. I mean,
Yeah, it
one of the
already went there,
yeah, it's still going. It's traveling to Pluto, I think.
Pluto, I believe, should be a planet again. I know it doesn't qualify, but damn it, the nostalgia makes me want to have it be a planet.
In the 90s, it was a planet. It was a planet in the 90s.
Okay, Grandpa, I'll take your meds. Like, oh man, I hate. I still feel young for the most part, and I guess we're still kind of young enough where we look in the mirror. No, we're still, because I feel like back in the Like
it's scary sometimes to think that we're getting old, but you're right. I still feel young overall, and there's a lot in front of us, and I don't look at it at that way, but I also recognize that we are kind of getting a little up there, I like pickleball.
Me too. I was really good. I hurt my back a few years ago playing pickleball because I went to, and then I stopped, and like
you hurt your back, you old man.
That's been an issue with me for years.
So I play men's league softball.
Nice.
You should play men's league softball.
I filled in for a friend like once, and I can still hit. I hit pretty far, and I actually I was playing left field. This guy pulls this ball and it's going foul, and I was too scared to hit the fence, so I stopped, and I didn't catch it. But then I redeemed myself later by like guy hits a line drive, and I run, I catch it. It was cool. It was dope. But yeah, I feel like when you're like, I shouldn't dive for this ball, you're probably getting older.
Actually, I wanted to ask you a question going back to Pokemon Day. Have you heard about the Logan Paul first edition box break?
The box break, I mean one from years ago, but I don't think that's what you're referencing.
Yeah, no, so he's doing it again on Pokemon Day, February 15th. Now, I have a hard time supporting the things that Logan Paul does for
I
Pokemon. I
understand.
mean, he's promoting it and it's great. He brings attention to the hobby, and attention is good, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, um, dude's sketchy. Dude's sketchy. I think most people will agree that he's sketchy. What he's doing with the Illustrator and Liquid Marketplace is super
Yeah.
sketchy. Have you heard anything about that in particular?
Yeah, I've obviously, well, people might not know here because they follow me for crypto stuff.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
The Pikachu Illustrator is the top trophy card that you can
yeah,
get as a Pokemon collector. But like for me personally, I'd rather Trophy Kangaskhan or Super Secret Battle promo or the Trophy Pikachus, but
yeah.
generally accepted in the
It's funny
hobby.
because I'm with you on that. I don't actually.
Yeah.
If I had to choose, I think the Trophy Kangaskhan is a way better artwork, and the Trophy Pikachu's I think are the definition of trophy card. They were
Dude,
awarded. I would.
I
I would.
so
I would love to have one.
I messed up. There was this guy on I think Viridian Pokemart, one of the Facebook groups, where he had a so the trophy. There's three trophy Pikachu's. The third one is my favorite because he's so chunky and he's looking up like he's so happy to just to be included. And that's my favorite. I've always wanted that. And this guy had it signed. And it was looking asked for 100 grand for it. And I was like, do you take crypto? Like I was ready to buy it. And the dude's like, well, I'd really rather cash. And I was like, but by the time I debate with myself, okay, I'll get you cash. Like where are you in the world? He's like, it's sold. I was like, no, no. It was, but yeah, I forget what grade it was, but it was signed by the art, and I was like, like I think there's only one of those. Like I'll never get that again.
Mm.
Um, but sorry,
It's
we
funny
were
how like you remember these moments where you have this opportunity for something
yeah.
and you just don't jump at it. Someone not too long ago offered me a PSA 7 trophy Kangaskhan. They wanted 35 for it, and it ended up selling for I think at least 10 or 20 more than that. Not too I mean the price of some
Wait,
vintage stuff really jumped quick.
wait, it went from like so the 7 was like 45 to 50K.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
what? So the last I saw, like the Trophy Kangaskhan, I think a PSA 10 was still like 180, 220. Has that changed recently?
I think it's more. I think it's more than that probably. I think
Yep.
it's probably up to a quarter.
Okay,
It's
so I
it's
still have the
probably
record
it's
sale.
probably at a quarter at this point.
Nice.
It's just such a nostalgic card. I mean,
Uh,
it is legendary in its own right. But going back to the Logan Paul Liquid Marketplace thing, the whole reason why it's so sketchy is because he bought the PSA 10 Illustrator, which shouldn't be a PSA 10
well,
because
he bought it as a 9, right? And then he regraded it.
no, he didn't regrade it. Someone else did.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
it's a well-known fact that the
Yeah,
card was a
it's a 9.
9 and was regraded numerous times. And back in like 2012, you were allowed to grade with PSA in the realm of Pokemon dozens of times if necessary to try to get a grade that you wanted. Like if you kept getting 9s, you could theoretically just keep sending the card back in again and again and again and again and
Yeah.
again. There were no upcharges back then. So that is what
Yeah.
happened with this Illustrator. Someone was sending, and even then the Illustrator was expensive, but they weren't doing upcharges at that point still. And somebody sent it in and they finally got the 10. And it's well known that it's not really a true 10. It's got
Yeah,
some it's not crazy
lightning.
damage. It's definitely a clean card. It's definitely a strong 9, but it's the fact that it was graded a 9 so many times, and then finally he just got the right grader and it graded a 10, and then they sold it to Logan Paul. He put this cringeworthy diamond encrusted nonsense around it. He put it up on Liquid Marketplace, which basically sold fractional shares, which I think at one point in time you actually mentioned this to me. You suggested the idea
It,
of fractional shares for cards
yeah.
like a stock. So that's what Liquid Marketplace did, except it didn't work. And somehow Logan Paul, as a co-founder, people bought fractional shares. He bought the card back, and people were supposed to get paid out for it, but they didn't. And now Liquid Marketplace is getting sued this way and that, and there's just a lot of red tape around it. And at the same time, he's now taking the same card that he listed for fractional shares and bought back. And there's a lot of red tape around liquid marketplace. And he just sold it on golden auctions, which he also recased mid auction, which is really sketchy too.
Yeah,
And
that's
the card
insane.
is, it doesn't matter because the card's going to sell for like $10 million anyway. You know, people at this point are just buying the grade. They're not buying the card. And it's
Yeah,
not like you and I are the ones buying it. So
yeah,
we're on the outside looking in. We're seeing how sketchy it is, but we're talking about people that have more money than God that are bidding on this thing at this point.
yeah.
And so Logan Paul, same day that the auction ends, is opening a first edition base set booster box on his YouTube channel. So if you're interested, you can watch that instead of going to New York City's Pokemon Day
I I remember.
at Nintendo World. You can watch, you can sit back at home and watch a first edition box get broken on YouTube. And what he's also doing is every
Hopefully, it's
person
not
that
fake
bought
this
a
time.
pack, yeah,
He's what?
every person that buys a pack at his
Oh,
auction is also getting one legendary collection pack opened up on
how
stream
much
as
is packs
well, I
going
guess.
for?
I have no idea.
I'm guessing like,
Probably way more than they're worth,
yeah,
because
like
that's what
20K a
happened
pack
the
or
last time
something.
he opened a box. His name alone raises the price on things,
Yeah.
which I don't agree with, but we're not the ones buying them anyway, so it is what it is.
I remember once when he was like first getting into it, and like the expert he has on is the bald-headed dude, the Guru Collectibles guy.
Oh
And
yeah.
so he gets he winds up getting like a Bulbasaur. He's like, oh, this one, and then Guru Collectibles is like, yeah, this card can go for like $30,000 on eBay. And Logan Paul doesn't know any better. He's like, whoa. So then the next day, I see somebody on eBay post their first edition PSA 10 Bulbasaur for 30K. Is it reserved for Guru Collectibles? So I was like, no freaking way. That's the greatest troll ever. And
That is great. That is great. I
yeah.
think in retrospect, what he was talking about was if it were to grade a BGS black label, it could
Oh,
be worth 30K. But like,
even then, there's like no way.
yeah, probably not. You know,
Yeah.
now honestly, now I think that would be feasible if it was a black label, and only if it's a black
Yeah.
label, right? Because there's like a population of zero, I'm pretty sure, in that category.
Yeah.
Because vintage is just vintage does not grade good. I mean, just look at what we were talking about earlier. I'm opening up vintage packs once per month. They don't come out gem mint
Yeah.
condition. It's like really rare that they do, right? You're better off, honestly. I would be better off if I had cards that I wanted that badly. I would be better off selling my pack, selling it as a heavy pack, even, and
Yeah.
then going and buying
Fine.
whatever card I want in a grade
Yeah.
of
You
9
guarantee yourself
from the
the,
set.
yeah. Yeah. You guarantee the
I
grade.
could. In the case of like Fossil or Jungle, I literally could sell the pack and buy any of the hollow cards in a grade of 9
What?
if I
Wait. What
wanted.
is a Lapras PSA 9 first edition? Well, first edition, I'm saying, but I guess
Well, first edition PSA. Remember, so PSA 9's not the same as PSA 10. PSA 10 just has this like ridiculous redonkadonk jump.
especially
The
for
most,
Lapras. The Lapras is very
yeah,
hard to
the
grade.
most valuable card in Fossil in a PSA 9, I
Probably Gen-
believe, is the
Gengar.
Dragonite. And
Not
the
Gengar.
Gengar, the Gengar, I think is very, very close. They're
Yeah.
last I checked, they were almost neck and neck with each other. But I think
Yeah.
Dragonite still
He
has a
blew the
little
heck
bit of
up,
an edge.
dude. You know, like you remember my PSA 10 Masaki Gengar?
I don't remember you having a PSA 10 copy. You had a PSA 10 copy?
Yeah, so it's on. I still get messages about that because it's on my Instagram, and I'll try to find it. And then
That's funny that you get messages about it still.
dude, I get messages about a lot of cards like that. I haven't posted Pokemon cards in years. I still get comments on like YouTube videos so yeah, it was so here's like a couple of them that I had posted, and then
Yeah.
one of them. Okay, that's the back.
The Masaki Gengar
Yeah.
is
So
so the Masaki Gengar is in a 10 is now up there with like a
it's like
PSA
tens of
9
thousands.
first edition Charizard.
Yeah, it's like, so I don't remember what I sold this for. I think it was like $15,000, but now it's like what, 100?
So I mean, let's look at it this way.
Yeah.
A PSA 9 Masaki Gengar now, a 9 is going for around 8 to 9K.
Okay, but yeah, the 10's got to be
That's a 9. So what does that mean for the 10?
100. I'd add a 0 to it. I don't fucking know.
Yeah, probably add a 0 to it, honestly.
Yeah.
Probably.
So,
I mean, that's just how older minter better, right? That's the
SM Pratt, older the minter, the rarer the better.
older minter, rarer better. Yeah, older rarer minter
So
better.
this was posted in July of 2021, and that was 14. And I sold it pretty quickly for that. So now like, so if you would have bought this for 14.5, even 15, you round it up in July of 2021. Now 4.5 years later,
You making out like a bandit.
you made like $70,000 like minimum. And
It's basically the grail of your collection.
yeah.
I
If
mean,
you buy
back then that's the grail of your collection.
well,
but now it's like ridiculous.
yeah, but back in the day though, like Gengar was popular. So for people that don't know, you'll probably remember in Pokemon the games, you can have there's 4 Pokemon that you can't get unless you trade. And that's how they evolve. Like you can't evolve unless you trade them. Gengar, Haunter was one of them, Gengar. So with the cards, you send in, I think it's like Bill's trading machine or something.
Yeah.
And along with the card, and then they send you back the evolved form of it. And they're very hard to grade because the way they came in this like envelope, it held the card in the corners. So the corners like almost always got like a 9 or an 8. So the 10
it
cards
even had its own nickname. It was called the Masaki Bend.
I don't even remember that, really.
Yeah, is the Masaki Bend is like they were notorious for having a little bow, and I actually had a couple cards. I had a Golem, and I had a raw copy of a Golem and a raw copy of an Omastar, and they both had the Masaki Bend where it was in the envelope, because it was literally just an indent from where it sat in the envelope, kind of like in between the flaps or whatever that held the card in place. And so that is why those cards in particular are so tough to get in a high grade.
I don't know why they did Omastar with that, but I loved him. Anyway,
I would have killed for a Kabutops. That would have been so cool.
Yeah. So my friend Jeremy, he's chief brand officer at Jazzwares, and your wife probably knows of Jazzwares. They're the ones that make Squishmallows. And
yeah,
they're you got your PSA. No.
We were talking about it. We were talking about it. So, I might as well just throw it out there. But yeah, so cool. Can you imagine that this card, when I bought it, and I don't remember when I bought it exactly, but I paid $400. Not, oh, no. I'm not done yet. I paid $400 for this card, Alakazam, Machamp, and which one am I missing?
Did you rob someone? How'd you pay $400 for these?
At some point in time, every card that we've ever owned has been worth a few bucks.
Yeah.
But at the time, it was four of the 5 Masaki cards I picked up for $400 in a PSA 9, including this one.
God.
It's just, I didn't, like I said, I didn't go after 10s. I went after 9s, but I mean, I went after a lot of 9s, and back in the day, they were a dime a dozen,
Yeah, they're cheap.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm thankful for getting into the hobby when I got into the hobby, because it helped fuel a lot of my collection. Yeah.
So
90s.
My friend Jeremy, chief brand officer of Jazzwares, they make Squishmallows. He's a big Pokemon fan. He's just a big nerd, big kid. Like, I love him. But I think part of the reason that Gengar blew up is because they had the Squishmallow Gengar. Now, obviously, he's in the anime. He's on one of Ash's teams. Have you seen, like, you probably didn't keep up with the anime, right?
Not particularly, no.
So one of Ash's teams, his fire Pokemon that he's like a lot of them with Professor Oak, they're teaching Gengar how to throw like Fire Punch. And I feel like it's one of the very few times where you get to see a Pokemon go through like a montage where they get to learn a move like this. And like he's getting discouraged, and eventually he punches and a little flame comes out, and everyone's like, whoa, and then like he's doing it. It's fine. So he's had this epic run. He has a mega version of him. He's got a Squishmallow of him. Gengar was always cool, but he was never like OP, like overexposure cool. And now I just didn't see it coming.
It blew up. He really blew up. I mean, it was back in around October. I posted a video on my channel saying the Gengar premium is real because a lot of people started recognizing like what happened to Gengar? The prices for all of his cards are skyrocketing. A lot of it started with the modern cards because there were some really, really,
Yeah.
you know, good looking modern versions of Gengar that came out, and people really relate to that card because it's, let's be real, not every Gen 1 Pokemon had a great design. Gengar, though, had a killer first design. His design has held true as being one of the best designed shadow based evil aura Pokemon from the OG beginning that there has ever been made. And I think it just took a long time with his design in mind and his appearances in mind. And a lot of this is the Pokemon Company itself. You know, they're the ones that push some of these cards out there in these modern sets. And with him being one of the primary chase cards, he gained a lot of popularity, especially with the younger crowd. I think a lot of new collectors coming in also really love Gengar. You know, everybody loves Charizard, but I think Gengar also, a lot of people coming in can immediately look at that and be like, that's a really awesome Pokemon. And so with that, the modern cards came out, and I think that just boosted everything up to 1,000% for these vintage cards. The Masaki Gengar, the Fossil Gengar, Sabrina's Gengar, they all have skyrocketed. Sabrina's Gengar did not used to be the chase card in Gym Heroes. It was not the chase card. I mean, you should know.
And
You
wait, so
collected
so
all of
Jim,
them.
wait, say that again. What was not the chase card in Gym Heroes? Sabrina's Gengar.
Sabrina's Gengar was
So
not the
there,
chase card.
so you have the in Gym Heroes. So you have Surge, you have Rocket. So there's Rockets, Mewtwo. There's
That's Gym
Rockets Mew.
Challenge.
Okay, then,
I
but
know it's
is
been a
there?
while. I
Wait,
know
no,
it's
wait.
been a while.
Is there two Mewtwo? Because like there's two Charizards. There's two.
Mm-mm.
There's not. Okay.
No, there's not two. There's only one Charizard, and again, it's Gym Challenge. Because I
Okay.
know
Maybe
Gym
I'm.
Challenge is your favorite. I know
Yeah.
Gym Challenge is your favorite.
That's my baby.
Yeah. So
I know
Gym
that.
Heroes had Blaine's Moltres, Erica's Venusaur, and it had Sabrina's Gengar. And
Erica's.
I would say that the Erica's Venusaur or the Blaine's Moltres was probably the original OG chase.
Yeah, those were
But
so good.
now it's not even close. Now the Sabrina's
Yeah.
Gengar is like far and away blowing them out of the water.
Who's the artist on Sabrina's Gengar in that one?
It's a good question. I could
Is that Ken
pull it out
Sugimori?
and we could pull it out and I could look at it, but I'm not 100% sure.
I'm sure I could just eBay it real quick.
Oh, I'm
Sabrina
sure.
Gengar, Gym Heroes.
Yeah.
So the Ken Sugimori was it was like off center Venusaur, and that was so good.
Yes.
And then the Blaine's Moltres had just so much hollow. So Ken Sugimori did this one as well. So this is for people
All
that don't
Sugimori.
know, the off center is just so good. There's so much hollow back there, but I
Oh
think
yeah.
part of the reason that
Tough
this
card to
is
grade too.
yeah, and part of the
Yeah.
reason why people like this is because of like the censorship. Because back in the day, let me go and show it to you.
Oh yeah,
Sabrina's
yeah. Pull
Gengar.
up. You have to pull up the Japanese one.
Yeah, Gym Heroes.
I wanted the Japanese one too. I so regret because I remember looking into getting a Japanese Sabrina's Gengar just because of the design alone. And I never really pulled the trigger on it. I was looking for like a mint raw copy and I just never went after it like I wanted to. I think I looked and I couldn't find one I was like happy with and I wasn't super like gung ho into trying to find one and the price started to go up a little bit and now that card's like just it got
I
away.
like.
So
Okay, here we go. So I couldn't find a good copy, but here's a decent copy. Where in the back it shows crosses. Like he's in a graveyard. Like there are
yeah,
bodies there.
it's a sick
And
card.
in America, they're just like, nope, we're not doing it. It's too dark. So it's edited. So I like the Japanese version a lot too because it's
Oh yeah.
unedited, the original.
It's
Um,
1,000% better. And, you know, just like a
yeah,
lot of things in the Japanese cards. That's why my whole collection portfolio is uh mostly first edition and vintage English cards from base set through Neo Destiny. But another piece of my pie is also Japanese promotional cards, as well as a little bit of Japanese vintage high value cards. So I've got like a Blaine. I've got my own Japanese Blaine's Charizard, and I've got a Dark Charizard in Japanese too, and I've got a base set Charizard in Japanese. And I wish I had added the Gengar to that, but I've also got the Masakis, like we've
Yeah.
talked about. And the red and green gift set hollows, I think, are super slept on. Those are super, super cool for the legendary birds.
Yeah, those I love those.
Some of my favorite artworks are in Japanese, especially the ones that didn't never had an English release.
Yeah, those because those ones are
They're
so rare.
gorgeous.
The artwork is so unique.
Yeah,
Um,
they're beautiful.
yeah. I guess being unique. Just one more thing on Gengar. There was like one episode that featured him in the original anime. It was when Ash got his ass kicked by Sabrina. He had to go to
Oh yeah.
Lavender Town, get some ghost Pokemon. But then you didn't see Gengar, Haunter, or Ghastly again until, well, I guess there was an island, or there was like a lost episode where the Fair Maiden takes the heart of James and Brock, and so you see Ghastly in that episode.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
aside from that, the next time you see him is in like past the Orange Islands, somewhere in the deep part of Johto, where it's on the sinking ship, or it's a
Yes,
ship that, yeah, and then you
I
see,
remember that. It was
but
a
that those
haunted
like,
ship. It was a haunted ship whose trainer had. It was a there was a Gengar and a Haunter,
Haunter.
and I maybe a Ghastly too. I'm not sure. Um, their trainer had become champion but had died, and for all eternity his ghost Pokemon sailed in his absence onward in a ghost ship with his trophy on board. It was just that was a sick episode. That was
Oh
a
yeah,
sick episode. But it's
gotta watch
crazy
that.
because like you were saying, there was never any good episodes until that point. There was really no episodes that really highlighted Gengar. Even at
Yeah,
Sabrina's episode that highlighted Gengar and Haunter was the one that got the bread there because he was the one that went with Ash, and
yeah,
then he ended up. It was almost like a tease. Like you were expecting this epic fight with Sabrina, and then it just wasn't. It was a really like a lame duck sort of.
yeah,
Here's Haunter, and then you get nothing for it.
yeah. I mean, he got a
So it
badge,
took
but
took a while. It took a while for Gengar to come to the forefront.
yeah, that was.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's the. I feel like we could do a deep dive, like every episode on just a single Pokemon. But like, here's what we
Oh yeah.
remember. Here's what we like. Yeah, that would be.
There's a lot of them for sure. But I mean, this is a cool year for Pokemon, and it's been a long time since we've gotten to do this, where we got to sit down and chat about
Yeah.
Pokemon. And we could chat. We're talking all vintage, but we could sit here and chat probably about modern also, even for a bit. And we did for a little while. I know that. Have you opened up any modern yourself, like Destin Rivals you mentioned? Just for
The
the sake
only
of curiosity, you were like, let me have a little bit of fun with this. Let me poke the bear with a stick, maybe.
the most recent like they don't even count, but it's like the Halloween cards that come out like every year.
Oh
I,
no.
I like hand them out to kids, and I save
Oh,
some. Like,
that's
oh, the
great
kids
though.
will get.
That's
Yeah,
really
yeah.
great.
Bro, okay, so I don't know about you, but did your when we were trick or treating back, I feel like there were more trick or treaters back in the day, but
Hmm.
did you ever go up to a house? They have the normal candy, but then people that are handing out candy do shots with your parents.
No.
So they
Oh,
do
so
that.
I did go trick or treating with my son this year, and there was a couple instances where there was an adult outside with like a bottle of wine, or there was just like some parents with their little kids day drinking as they went house to house. So I saw that. So I don't doubt this story, but
Yeah,
I
so
don't recall it myself.
in the house that I'm in now, this was last year. I my 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 roommate like comes like at like 3 in the afternoon with like Halloween stuff. I was like, here, help me put this out. I was like, we haven't had any trick or treaters like all day, and he's like, no, just trust me. Around like 5, 6 o'clock, they're gonna start coming. I was
Hmm.
like, okay, and then he sits outside with big giant ass bowl of candy, and I was like, he has a maker's mark, and I'm like, damn, I feel bad, like no trick or treat. And then like clockwork, like 5:30, bunch of kids start coming, bunch of parents, and he starts doing shots with the parents. Like, I want to do shots with the parents. And then it was great. It was awesome.
That sounds great. I love that.
Yeah, and he's a little older, but I get like all the kids' costumes. I do a bunch of like the Fortnite stuff, and that there's no Pokemon in Fortnite yet, right?
It's a good question. I don't know.
I don't think
I
there
don't know.
is.
I
I
try to
feel like
stay up to date on where Pokemon is in the playing field, but I don't believe there's Pokemon in Fortnite. I could be wrong. Maybe one of your viewers knows.
okay, so we've been debating, we've been speculating on years. When will Pokemon get into the NFT Web3 business? And they haven't yet. A
Yeah,
lot of other
I
companies have.
remember years ago you mentioning this too, and it's just like it just has not happened yet.
I believe one day that we will get that.
One day they will strike, and then that'll send VeVe to the moon.
I'll have you on again, like when that happens.
Pokemon will send it. Yeah, I would love that. I would love that.
Yeah.
You know, I need to come on with you a little more often. You
You
know,
you
maybe
should
more than once every couple of years.
you should have streamed this to your audience because you could stream it too.
That's okay. You know,
Just too late. Yeah.
well, I mean, it's fine either way because you know, it's I'm not trying to with my channel. I'm not aiming to make much of a profit off of it to
Yeah.
begin with. You know, I've been sitting at just under 1,000 subscribers for how long? Probably. So
5 years.
I'm definitely a slow grind. You know,
Yeah.
but it's just a hobby for me, and my biggest thing is just sharing it with all of you guys. You know,
Yeah.
I post content because it's fun to share with everybody else that enjoys collecting Pokemon cards and talking about vintage Pokemon cards. That's what I do this for. And so my time only allows for me to do 1 to 2 videos per month. And so I know that's not going to get me to 10,000 subscribers. But hey, I'm at 974, so maybe we can get it there, you know?
Subscribe to Joe R Vintage Pokemon.
I
Subscribe.
can subscribe. Joe R Vintage Pokemon, and we're opening up one vintage booster pack per month for the remainder of this year. Not because we want subscribers, not because I am getting some sort of financial priority out of this or sponsorship, but because that is what I want to do. And it's fun, and I've waited long enough. I want to open up some god dang booster packs. Not this modern mumbo jumbo. I want me a chance to pull a god dang Charizard or a Shining Gyarados. So let's do it. Get on
Hell
there
yeah.
with me, and let's pull something crazy.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, there's yeah, like I said, we'll definitely have to do this again. We got
Yeah.
another comment here saying, did you watch Team Rocket Joey? I feel like I've heard that name before. Um,
I have never watched Team Rocket Joey.
yeah, I'm not sure who he is,
Yeah.
but
Oh,
we
I don't know if he's like really popular or what. I know that the most popular guys out there are TCA Gaming, Pokerev. Pokerev will open like 500 modern packs in one shot. But I mean, he is a you know, he does it for you know, it's a business for him.
yeah,
His living is his YouTube channel, so it's different, you know.
yeah. That,
Um TCA Gaming, he's great. You know, Leonhardt is, you know, love hate relationship for a lot of people with Leonhardt, but he's overall he's a good guy for the most part. And then you got Logan Paul, who's just weird.
yeah, maniac. I
Yeah,
so I in the next 12 to 15 months, I'm gonna cash out of a bunch of companies I have. As possible, it happens in the next like 6 months. Probably not. I want to say like year, 15 months. Um, Depending on where the Pokemon market is at that time. Like if crypto stays down here, I'm just gonna yeet half of it into crypto, and Pokemon will wait another year. But if crypto is taken off by then, there's probably no need for me to buy any more crypto at that point. At that point, I just cash out crypto. But half of it would probably go into a high risk lending thing where I just get guaranteed like 15% a year, and that's fine. But and maybe half of what's left would just go. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna probably do like 7 figures in Pokemon. It would be
nice.
the Trophy Pikachu #3, Super Secret Battle promo, Trophy Kangaskhan, and those are
You
the
know,
three that.
it's you know what's hilarious is that 4 or 5 years ago, a million would have gotten you that and then some. I think 1 million now would probably be enough to get you the trophy con and maybe a lower grade trophy Pikachu, and then you'd be done.
Wait, how much is a lower grade trophy Pikachu?
Oh, I'm sure it's in the hundreds.
Yeah, I'm sure too, but like
Yeah.
500 or like 300?
You know, honestly, I can't say for certain, but it's just one of those cards that's like it's so low population. It's whatever someone's willing to pay. I
Yeah.
wouldn't doubt that you might have trouble even finding you. I don't know if you'd be able to even find one. They're all in private collections.
Let me, yeah.
A
I mean,
trophy
if
Pikachu.
I,
There are people that are like posting on E4 like, "Hey, I'm looking for a trophy con." Multiple people posting like that they're looking for one, and these are people willing to pay the price to get one, and they're okay with like
yeah,
a 6 or a 7 grade one. So the odds of finding the 10 available is very very low at this point. I would love for you to
yeah,
get it back, but I mean, it might be tough.
yeah. Okay. So the trophy Kangas, I, I remember the guy that I sold it to sold it again to like this Japanese kid. I said kid, he was like in his 20s, but so he's a
Mhm.
man, but and I think he still had it. This was as of like two or so years ago though. So I don't know if he had sold it as well to do whatever, but I would if I could get mine back, I'd track that down. But if not, like I'll just find another, another PSA 10 and maybe I'll get two.
I
I
mean,
mean,
I really hope you can find another one. I really, really do. We're
yeah.
talking about we're talking about some crazy low pop cards at this point, though.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, was there like 10, 12 of them? PSA
If
10?
if I had a time machine, I'd go back in time and I'd buy a lot of these trophy cards. I know, like at first, it wasn't really what I was interested in, just because of the difficulty. Even back then,
Yeah.
it was hard to get them. We're talking about some cards here. I think when I first got back into the hobby, and we're talking like towards the beginning, when before things really started to take off, even then a trophy Kangaskhan was probably in the hundreds to close to maybe $1,000. We're talking
Yeah.
about like no four-figure cards still back then, right?
Yeah.
It maybe less. And now just look at it. It's just insane. So I wish I could, I wish I might. I wish upon this shooting Pokemon star Jirachi with all my might. But it wasn't meant to be.
Yeah, you're right. I can't find anything. Like, there's no even like listings on eBay. There's nothing anywhere for the Trophy Pikachu stuff. I mean, I'd have to just use you or use whatever connection, but I'll
You'd have
um
you'd have to find some connections that would go digging for you. That's for sure.
yeah.
They're
Um
out there, but it takes some digging. You'd have to maybe even there are even middlemen on Instagram that their sole purpose is just basically they're bounty hunters. They're on the lookout for buying cards. But I see it all the time. People are just going to these card convention shows now and they're saying like, "Hey, I've got 200 grand to spend." So that's the kind of money that we're rolling with right now.
yeah.
And what could be a better investment than a trophy Kangaskhan? And so if there's people out there that I'm seeing regularly, by the way, they're like, "I got 300K to spend. Show me what you got." If those people, I'm seeing them as frequently as I am, then you know that the trophy Kangaskhan is getting, if it's available, it's getting bought.
Yeah. So maybe man. So I up until I guess there's no public sales for it. Privately it probably has, but as far as I know, I still had that record at 279 for the
Hmm.
sale. I mean, there's probably been sales privately gone beyond that. I want to know though. Maybe I'll just give SM Pratt like put his like top Patreon member or whatever, and be like, okay, get me a trophy Kangaskhan, and because I don't know if he still has his left. I know he had two. He sold one for
Yeah,
150 back in 2020. I don't know if he has the other one left though. We'll see.
I couldn't tell
Uh,
you. I'm sure
what?
he has one, probably in his PC, his personal collection, but I
Yeah.
couldn't tell you for certain.
So for you, when we get into let's say you have either a windfall or you have some other investment that goes crazy. Let's say you have some play money, like guilt-free money, like you taking care of your family, your house, take care of whatever you
Mhm.
need to take care of. What's a grail goal of yours?
A reasonable goal or like a goal that is never gonna happen? Are we talking
Both. Give me
realistic or
two.
not realistic?
Give me two. Realistic and non-realistic.
Okay, so um a realistic goal would probably be I would love to own some PSA 10 first edition hollows, some like specific ones. Like it would be sick if I could own a PSA 10 first edition Charizard. It'd be sick if I could own a maybe not even that because that's really far out of reach. I would just love to own some of the things that I have in a 9, maybe in a 10.
Yeah.
The unrealistic goal would be if I could obtain some of these older vintage trophy cards, like
Yeah.
you were saying. Um, but I chose early on. I wanted to collect them all versus collect only a few because a lot of people make that choice. They say I rather have one PSA 10 copy of a card than own the entire set in a grade of 9, right?
Yeah.
Because that is quite literally what it is. If you have a first edition PSA 10 Charizard in base set, that will be worth more than the entirety of first edition base set in a PSA 9 copy. And so you have to choose which one would you prefer. Obviously, one is more liquid and easy to move than the other because it's so many less pieces. One
Yeah.
is easier to move than like 16 other hollows. But that's the choice that you make when when you start collecting, and that was kind of what I decided to do. Not to say that I don't love my overall collection because I really do, and I like to try to keep it as safe as possible in the old vault.
Hell yeah. Same here, fam. I'll keep you
Yeah.
posted on what I do.
Oh
Is
man,
there?
keep us all posted.
Yeah, it'll be great when I come back. Hopefully in a year, but it might be a bit longer than that, depending on. I would say a year though. But if crypto's down for another year, I have to. I'd have to DCA into crypto more than anything because that's
Do what you gotta do.
yeah, and then but all roads will lead back to Pokemon at some point.
I believe you.
Let's talk off air for a little bit.
Okay.
But for right now, everyone say bye bye to Dashi. Bye bye, Dashi. We love you.
See you later,
This
Dashy.
was great. We'll do it again soon. Meow meow meow.